This video is on how to pull comps for a property. Sometimes the comps don't always pull up. This one, it did. It did pull up here. So we see all the comparable sales, what other properties have sold for, the high and the low right there. Okay. So that's just a printout, but we really want to see a little bit better detail of these comparable sales. Okay, how we're going to do that is we're going to look at the Zillow houses that have sold. So let's go to Zillow.com, get the address of the property that we need to get comparable sales for. We could, click down here as well. So get the address, paste it in there. Okay, it pulled up this exact property. It thinks this estimate is worth $180,000. We don't really care about this estimate. However, it is a 2,000 square foot house. We want the bedrooms and bathrooms to be pretty close, usually within one. So we could possibly search 2 bedrooms and up, but with this, we really want to do 3 bedrooms. If it was a 4-bedroom house, I would say we can search 3 bedrooms and up. But in this case, let's not go less than 3. So we want a 3-2. So here's what we look for. Make sure you click recently sold, and then click on 3 bedrooms. Home type, we only want houses checked. So unchecked, apartments, condos, townhomes, manufactured, lot/land, uncheck all those. Now sometimes we may have a townhouse or a condo that we need comps on, and we'll need those checked. So depending on the type of property. So if it's a single family home, you just click houses. Okay, so we have baths of 2 baths. You can also sort by year built. We want to look in the last 6 months, okay? And what was the square footage? I think it was like almost 2,100, I think. I have it here. Okay. 2,073. We want to be within 10% of the square footage to start off with. We can go higher. We can go 15%, 20%. So let's go 2,073. And what's 10% of that is 207. So plus 207.3 technically, but okay, 2,280. We're going to round that up to 2,300 square feet on the high side. So we'll do a maximum square footage of 2,300. And we'll do the same thing again. We'll take the 2,073 minus 207. That gives us 1,866. I'm going to round it down to 1,800. So between 1,800 and 2,300 square feet. And I actually took this one out. Let me go ahead and put it back there to 17. Just because I want to keep that comp in, and it's 1,789, you see, so it's 11 square feet, within 11 square feet. Now, so we see this area right here, what these are selling for, what they've sold for. Let's zoom out a little. There's not a lot of comparable sales there. Let's zoom out a little bit more. Okay, we got a lot over here. We got some over here. All right. Now we don't want to cross any major, you can tell that this is a major road here. That might be kind of a main road, but we don't want to cross any major roads. Our property was somewhere around here. So let's do a radius. I like to change the map to look like this. Okay, so let's do, I'll draw a little map. Let's go from somewhere around here. That looks pretty good. Hit apply. Sometimes if it's not working, just refresh the page. Click apply. Okay, now I like to go by cheapest. So here's one that sold for 107, which is up there. 119, 120. All right, so there's a decent amount of comps here. Let's see how has it been in the last 90 days. The last 90 days, the cheapest house was 120, 121, 145. Okay, now I also want to know what is for sale. Let's see. Let's take some of these higher comps. That's a new house right there. Also, what year was this one built in? I'm gonna find out. Since there's a lot of houses, when there's a lot of comparable sales, we want to find out as much as we can about it. So open up a new tab. This one tells me, you can go back to Zillow if you want. I just did a search. This one was built in see, I may have passed it. More, click more. Should say somewhere last remodel year, 1976. It was, oh, there it is. I knew it was somewhere. I was missing it. Built in 1976. So let's try and go within about 10 or 15 years. So let's say that, let's search by built in. Let's go from 1966 to 1986. That's 10 years plus or minus, right? Hit apply. Okay. We still have, this is a good comp right here. We still have this one at 1,900 square feet. So we got our 3 high comps, okay? And we got our 3 low comps. That's exactly what we want. We got a lot of comparable sales. If we don't have a lot of comparable sales, then sometimes you need to make your square footage a little bit higher. I'll up it by, say maybe take that down to 1,600, take this one up to 2,400. Maybe don't even worry about the year built. Go within 6 months. Okay, so our lowest comps here are 107, 118, 133. I want all of that information, so I'm going to copy that and I'm going to put that in the notes here. All right, low comps. I don't need the pictures. All right. You just got to add a little space right here. Price per square foot. So there's the sold price. Price per square foot is $59, and then the next thing is 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Otherwise, if the numbers are all blended together, they just don't make any sense. So we got sold price per square foot. This one is $65 a square foot. And then one more time right here, $73 a square foot. Okay, and now let's do high comps. And those are, let's go with our 3 high comps, 287. Okay, that's on a big lot. That's, I don't think you see that as a comp. This one's pretty close, but it's got a big lot as well, so I don't know. That's, see, it's almost a half acre. Let's see. Well, these are our 3 highest comps, so 240, 227, 221, 216. This one's a 2-story house on a 3/4 acre lot. Different style than what the one that we're purchasing. Yeah, plus it has a pool. Does this one have? This one might have a pool. I can't remember. Let's see. Oh yeah, it does have a pool. So okay, so that's also why. Let's go with these right here. These 3 highest ones, although this one does say, I believe that's in a subdivision. So plus it's way down here. Our house is somewhere up around this area, and that's where these comps are. So that's a little bit better. We got plenty to go off of. If we didn't have tons of comps, I would use this one, but we got plenty of comps very close to the house. So let's go with these 3 as our highest. and paste those over here. Do the same thing. $110. So these are selling around the same price, between $110 a square foot, $109, $113, which means that this house should sell for $109 a square foot. So full market value of this property. Let's take the square footage times 109, 2073 times 109. So I'd say full market value of this property is actually 225, 226,000. I'm just going to put that in the notes here. I'm going to say ARV for after repair value is 225 grand. And you see Zillow is telling us, let's see, where's the Zillow info? Zillow's estimate is saying that it's worth 180,000. I mean, that's somewhat close, but I really think that it's worth about 200,000 or so, maybe 225, based on these numbers. $113 a square foot, 109, 110. So let's say we went $113 a square foot. Let's go 113 times our square footage of 2073. So that's 234,000. So I would say 225 to 234. So there's our comparable sales. Let's check one more thing. Let's see what is for sale. We want to know the cheapest houses for sale because we want to be able to sell our house at the best price. Okay, so this house is for sale at 120,000. Wow. There's a couple cheap ones out there. Let's take a look at it. Not bad shape. 1,800 square foot, 4.2. I did a new roof and AC. Oh, no, not new. It was 11 years old. Not bad. And this is why we look up the cheapest properties. See, we got some selling asking 225, some asking 195. Then we got this one for 120, and this one for 149. Which actually, our house is, I forgot our house is over there. That's where it's at. It's not up here. It's on this side of this road. So let's see what that sold for 160. Let me change this map and focus in a little bit more on this area. Let's see what we got. Last 6 months. Okay, that's all the same. What's our highest comps now? Okay, I'm thinking this is probably a little bit closer. Let me change these comps here real quick. Since we're not crossing over this road, and we are by a little bit, but all right, we'll take that one out of there. You can see the difference. The prices are lower over here than they are over there. So we want to be in the same area or neighborhood if possible. So this is the highest one. I'm not going to consider that one. Let's take these three and go with that. Let's make these three our high comps. Okay. All right, $88 a square foot, $97 a square foot. $101 a square foot. Okay, let's see. So what would it sell for if we plug in these numbers now? All right, 2073 square feet times 88. 2073 times 88. All right, so that puts us our ARV at, what was that number? 182, so we'll say 182.5. And on the high side is 101,000. Let's go 101 times 2073, I think was the square footage. So 209, so 209, 209.4, we'll say. 209, 400. I think that's more accurate. It's all about accuracy. We want to give realistic comparable sales. So we got our low comps, we got our high comps. So here's what I think it would really sell for based on houses that are a little bit closer to where it's at. Actually, we have our low comps are a little bit more. That's okay. We'll still go with our lowest of the low comps. Okay, so that's how you find the comparable sales. We got our low comps, we got our high comps, we got our after repaired value. Okay, now that we got the comps fixed, let's go back and take a look at what is for sale again. We started doing this. Okay, so we see, oh man, can I undo that? No, let me do my radius again somewhere. Yeah, let's go with that. Okay, so we got 149,000 for sale. Let's just look at just what's for sale. Okay, the most expensive is 225, 169, 149. It's a foreclosure, will probably get bid up. I'm surprised this one is for sale. Seems like a really good price. The estimate's saying 155, although that doesn't mean anything. They just dropped the price 20 grand. Is it listed with the realtor? Yeah, it has the MLS number. It's listed with the realtor for 120. I'm surprised that it's so low. Okay, so if this house is for sale for 120,000, then it doesn't make sense to pay 120,000 for this house, which is what she said that she wanted. So I'm going to offer her 10% less than that. So we're going to make the offer for 112,000. If we go to resell it, maybe we can list it for 119 or something and at least make a little bit of money. We want to buy it the cheapest, but at the same time, we want to be able to sell at the cheapest as well. That's why it's so important to see what's for sale. Check out the accurate, true comparable sales. We don't want to, like I said, you don't want to cross any major roadways like that. This one is probably okay. Looks like you're getting closer to a golf course over here, so I don't know if I would want to cross that road. Maybe we could cross over this a little bit. So let's say we go up to there. So we got this one for 120. I can't believe that it's so cheap. I'm thinking they sound pretty motivated. All right, the next cheapest one is 149. Foreclosure. Looks kind of ugly on the inside. No pool. Let's look at this one for 120. Okay, no pool, so ours definitely has a lot more value than this. But it's not bad looking on the inside. Looks like they kind of tried to redo it. Needs some paint, that's for sure. Cabinets are old, but it does have granite. Looks like they came in, did a little paint, some tile work. Probably painted these cabinets white, threw on some granite to try and sell it for a higher price. They got nice, the trim, the wood floors, it looks nice. Looks decent. Oh, they didn't finish it though. Looks like somebody started to rehab this project. Okay, that's why this one's selling for 120. It's not completely finished rehab, it looks like. Might not be a bad idea to offer them 90,000. This might be a good house. I might make an offer on this thing. All right. I think that's good enough. So that gives you a good idea of how to pull comps, but also we want to see what is for sale. Oh, what's the size of this one for 120? Where is it? Here it is. What's the size? 1800. Ours is 2000, right? So what was it? 2073 minus 207. 1866. So is that within? So if we actually did our 10% exactly and say we do 1866, then that 120 really doesn't even apply. So then the next cheapest house for sale is 149 and then 169. Let's look at this one. Okay, it's all old, hasn't been updated. So they're selling 169. Swing set. So our house, we should be able to do all right with it. Let's see what it looks like. Look at the street view. There's a view of it right here, but let's look at a better picture on instantstreetview.com. You can paste it in there. All right, let's see. Get a better look how I zoom out here. Older house, fireplace, has brick. It's not bad looking. Looks like it's 2-car garage, 2 separate ones. Has a fence back there, nice big oak tree. I just like to get a look at it from different angles. Pretty tall. All right. It's a decent looking house. It's not bad. You can look at the neighborhood real quick. See, we got the other houses around here are really nice, very well kept. It's not an ugly neighborhood by any means. This is a very nice neighborhood. Yeah, I like to just take a little ride down the street here. There's an older house right there. Yeah, look at nice grass, nice houses, nice roofs. That one's older, but it's not bad. Look, this one's been completely redone, or it's a newer house. Really good neighborhood, so this thing should sell pretty easy. Everyone keeps their yards nice. This is good stuff to see. At least we know. So I'm gonna make a note of that over here. Let's see. In the notes, I'm just gonna put nice neighborhood. On Street View, so that way I know that it's not just somebody saying it. If I look at this lead another time, on Street View, Google Street View. Nicely kept yards. So I think this house would sell pretty easy, if, of course, it's at the right price. So that is how you pull comps. The Zestimate says it's worth 180. My estimate after repaired value is 182 to 209. So they're pretty close to the lower side of my estimate. On the high side, 209. So if we were to resell this property, we want to sell it at 70 to 80% of the value. So let's say it's 209,000 times 70%, 146 minus the repairs. We might have 10,000 repairs, let's guess. 10, let's say 15,000. 15. So we want to sell this for, resell for maybe 130,000. If I go at 80%, it's 15. So we want to resell somewhere between 130 and 152. But if this one's for sale for 149, they're probably not going to look at our house. So we want to be cheaper than this price right here. And I'll also make a note of that. There's a foreclosure for 149. So we want to be less than 149,000. So if we're in it at 120, we can sell it for 140, 145. We give away a good deal. We buy it at a good price. It's exactly what we want. Now their asking price is 120. So we're going to actually offer them 10% less. So we'll offer them 120 minus 10%. So we'll offer them 108,000. And maybe we can sell it for the 130, 140, maybe 150 range. We'll see what happens. So anyways, that's the long and the short of how to pull accurate comps, comparable sales. I always like to draw a little radius, try not to cross any major roadways. And you got to play with it a little bit to really get a feel for it. Like sometimes you got to put in year built. Like let's take out the year built real quick and apply. See, now we have some other houses in here that have sold. You got maybe some newer houses. Maybe some, yeah, this one was built in 91. It sold for 120. Just this month, and this estimate was 186, which is probably pretty close. Maybe on the low side, but so you could be plus or minus 10 to 15 years. We don't want to have a house that was built in the 2000s and then be comparing it to houses that were built in 1960 or 1950 or whatever. A lot of these were built in the 70s, as you can see, 70s, 80s. Now there's one that was built in 95, but a lot of them are 70s. There's 199. So we don't really want to compare our house, since it was built in, I think, 1970 something, to this house that was built in 1990. Here's another foreclosure for sale for 190. Looks like it's in decent shape. Probably not updated. Probably priced pretty high. Okay, so again, sometimes you want to be within 10% of the square footage. So if you can, sometimes if you don't see a lot of comparable sales, you got to be within 15%, or sometimes you got to be within 20%. Sometimes if you have a 4-bedroom house, there might not be a lot of 4-bedroom houses for sale, so you got to do 3 bedrooms and up. But make sure your square footage is close and your year built is close. But if you don't have a lot of comps, then you'll have to adjust that stuff. If you have a ton of comps, then you'll go, last 90 days, get the square footage real close, get the year built real close. So that is the long and the short of how to pull comps. And also don't forget to see what's for sale